Tupac and Biggie were killed in their prime when they had very few projects out. I mean, well, Tupac had a ton of shit put together, but in terms of actual
Yes.
albums, what, 4 albums? Biggie had 2, with
Yep,
the
yep,
second
yep.
one dropping right when he got killed.
Yep, yep.
I would say, as someone who has been around for all of these rappers, I would say that when it's all said and done, Drake is going to be in the same conversation as a Tupac and a Biggie.
I don't think so.
The only difference is
I
the
think
whole
commercially-
ghostwriting thing. The ghostwriting thing, I feel, kind of hurts him in the purist, in terms of the hip hop purists, the way they look at him, because the greats are not supposed to have anyone write for them.
I don't agree with that either. I think that there have been great artists in history who had ghostwriters.
In hip-hop?
I'm not
Rappers?
the guy. Biz Markie, one of my favorite rappers of all time.
I like Biz Markie. I wouldn't put him as one of the greats.
I do. You know why?
I would not put him as one of the greats.
Put him on stage next to Drake.
I'll put him on stage.
him on
I'll
stage
put him
next
on
to
stage next to Big Daddy Kane, who he brought on, and it's not even close.
I don't agree with that. Kane's one of the greatest live performers of all
Kane
time.
even said he destroyed him in a battle. Kane even told
Of
me in
course
an interview.
Kane could beat Biz in a battle.
There you go.
But what? That's Kane. one of the greatest of
Music-wise,
all time.
music-wise,
Biz,
Kane's
have you ever
music-
seen Biz Markie perform live?
No, I have
Then
not.
you can't talk.
Okay, all right.
Because Biz live in its prime was one of the greatest entertainers, like Dougie Fresh. Dougie Fresh, yeah, Kane could destroy
We're
Dougie
not
Fresh.
we're not talking about stage presence.
But
right
that's
now.
an MC.
Okay.
Live
This
show
was not part of my
is
conversation.
an MC. No, no,
okay,
no.
no, I
If
feel
you're
you.
talking
No, I
about
can
the
see.
great-
I
if
can
you're
see
talking
why
about the
you would
great-
say that. I'm
because
talking about
when hip-hop-
strictly
when hip-hop
music-wise,
started-
recorded
when hip-hop
music.
started, why record music? When hip-hop started, there was no recorded music. When hip-hop started, it was about going to the party and who could rock the fucking party the best. That's the beginning of hip-hop. That's what hip-hop was.
I feel you.
Later on, they started going, now it's recording. Recording was some later shit.
Okay.
So the thing is, the live stage show, you get on the stage, who rocked the house? That motherfucker Biz beatboxed, rhymed, rocked the crowd, had the crowd going crazy. He's a great. You know, obviously he can't rhyme like Big Daddy Kane and Redman. That's not Biz.
I've seen Rakim perform live. It was cool, but it was not mind blowing.
Well, no, that's accurate. What Rakim's whole thing was, in fact, I love Rakim more than
And
so
people
many.
consider him the greatest ever.
Well, here's the thing.
And based on your
okay, no, what I'm going to
your
tell
layout
no,
right
what
there
I'm gonna
doesn't
tell
quite
you,
fit in.
What year did you see him?
Maybe
In his
10
prime?
years ago.
Okay, you've seen him 20 years after his prime, right?
Okay.
The thing with Rakim, when Rakim was in his prime, he had this aura. And when Rakim stepped on the stage with his voice and his mic, and everybody before him had that energy and the power, and yo, hit me, ha, ha. Rakim came out, his whole aura was like, I am the God MC. He walked on the stage, his voice touched that microphone, and the whole house, that was the show. And it was the only man in history who got away with that. Other rappers after that tried it. Nas, I got lyrics. So the first 10 years of Nas' career, his shows were boring because he was trying to do the Rakim aura thing, but he didn't have that Rakim aura and that
Right.
Rakim voice. He had the lyrics. So then, then he started doing the shows with, the Marleys, and now you go to a Nas show, the motherfucker puts on a show.
Right.
But it took him a minute because he was trying to do that, yo, and it's like, that's not a show yet. So Rakim was the dude who could walk on stage. His show was his aura. So now if you're talking about, I saw a 50-year-old Rakim rap and it wasn't a great show, yeah, he's 50 fucking years old. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know what show you're talking about, but, I know a prime Rakim when he walked on the stage and that the voice, that fucking golden voice touched that mic, it bowed down.
So this is something that's been happening on Vlad TV for a while now. I've debated this with Mark Lamont Hill, with Charlemagne, maybe even Lord Jamar. But my statement.
Charlemagne's a fucking punk. Fuck that guy.
That's my homie.
I fuck him. I was on Twitter. I seen an interview he did with the little mama. So like Jaheim was posting it, and I watched it. It's the internet. That's your history. I don't know what year it was done. I said, man, come on, that wasn't even funny. That was just corny, So hey, dickhead, have some breakfast. So I said, you know what? It's hard for me to get offended when a pussy calls you a dickhead, So that's where I'm with that guy,
So the debate that we've been having with various people on the show is this. I feel that Nas, although an incredible lyricist, and Illmatic being one of my top 5 albums of all time, is the worst beat picker of all time?
Well, I don't know. Nas rapped over, he made Illmatic. You know, 8 of the best beats to a lot of people. Like, it's considered the greatest beats.
Large Professor helped out quite a bit, though.
Well, that's, you know, what did Large, it was Q-Tip, Premier, Large Professor, who else was on it? Pete Rock. I mean, he got all the greatest, Q-Tip, he got all the greatest producers and made a classic album. His second album had some misfires, but it also had, you know, great Havoc beats, great Premier beats, all of this. So he has a record of making great records. Sometimes he has misfires, like the Hate Me Now song with Puffy on the hook. I didn't like that.
There was a lot of misfires. What I'm saying is people of his stature and of his caliber, you have not seen so many misfires, album after album after album after album, than you've seen with Nas.
Well, compared to the people you like, I'll take Nas is Like, produced by DJ Premier.
Great song.
Over the big back-to-back Drake fucking song. I'll take that. Nas is Like, that's a lot better of a beat than back to back.
Yes, Nas has,
you know,
some cool beats every so often on his albums, but when it comes down to it, like, he used the same fucking beat on 2 of his singles. Who does this? Like, I mean, who says, you know something, I'm going to use that same beat again and put that out as a single again with the same beat?
I think Nas
who does this? Like, come on.
I believe Nas has some certified classics and certified classic beats. You know, his catalog has some beats that Nas has a reputation for not picking the right beats. Like, you know which one I don't like by Nas? The one he did with Genuine. I liked Genuine at the time. They did the song together, and the beat wasn't right to me. But take that, and then you take
the stuff he did with Dre didn't make a lot of sense.
No, the Dre beat was terrible.
This is what I'm saying.
The Nas is coming. That was Dre's fault. You know, Dre gives you what he gives you. That shit.
Well, no, and it's up to you to say this ain't right for me, because I think that's ultimately what makes the best.
You're right.
Artists.
I agree with you. You know what? I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. It is Nas's responsibility if Dre comes in with a beat that isn't right. It is Nas's responsibility to say
because
that.
when you look at the greats, they're not just strictly lyricists. They are picking the right beats for them.
Nas picked the right beats enough to make one of the albums that's considered the greatest of all time.
Exactly, his first album.
I don't think Illmatic's the greatest of all time. I think it's a great album. But
top 10?
But a lot of people in history believe that's the greatest hip-hop album of all time. So if you're such a whack beat picker, you know, you
After Illmatic, how about that? He's the worst beat picker of all time after Illmatic.
The song what Primo did with the gun and the beat that Havoc made, and even the Trackmasters beat that they had on there, I think that it was written had a lot of dope stuff too.
There's some moments, like he has moments.
I agree.
But overall, and let me tell you a story.
My biggest criticism of Nas would be, he's so lyrical. My biggest criticism is, not even a criticism, but like when you rate Nas as the GOAT, my thing would say...
I wouldn't put Nas as the GOAT.
No, some people do.
Some people
I don't rate Nas as the GOAT
and I'll put it like this. Right now, in 2016, this is how I'm going to prove my point right now. In 2016, in general, what do people anticipate more? A new Nas verse or a new Jay-Z verse? I could tell you...
Jay-Z, that's the same.
I could tell you... But these guys were neck and neck at one point.
No, but see, now that's silly because Jay-Z is the biggest celebrity on the planet. He's with Obama and Michelle and Beyonce, and he's the relevant personality in person. So of course, what's Jay-Z up to? Nas is just known as a rapper. Jay-Z is in the White House rocking shit.
Because of his rapping.
What?
Because,
he got there through the rap.
He did not get there through his business acumen. He got there because of his rapping.
Is why people are checking. If Nas was at a higher level in society than Jay-Z, they would be checking for the Nas verse. Because let me tell you something. If Nas and Jay-Z dropped a verse at the same time, Nas most likely would have the better verse. But
agree or disagree?
I
can tell you that the Nas verse on that Kanye French Montana song that I Can't Figure It Out, I think is the name of it, was like, what'd you think? What'd you think? You know what I'm talking about?
So
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So a Nas verse came out, and a hip hop fan to sit next to me didn't even know it was out. Boom. Thank you.
Okay.
Pretty much every Jay-Z verse that came out, everyone pretty much knows about it.
Yeah, because he's the most famous person on the planet.
I got the keys. That
He's
shit
the most
everywhere.
famous person on the planet.
Okay.
Jay-Z's the most rich person in the game, one of the top 10 richest person.
Right.
And listen, when Jay-Z, so okay, when Beyonce had the big hit record last year, In Love, Drunk in Love.
Right.
And he's like, oh, my breast is my breakfast is, and you know, is that some super incredible verse that everybody gave a fuck about? No, they cared about Beyonce's song, the bounce, the beat, the song was dope. Jay-Z was, oh, that's Jay-Z's voice. Jay-Z, the famous Jay-Z is on it. That's a pulled back Jay-Z. That ain't Jay-Z going, you know, it's Jay-Z saying some, your breakfast is my breakfast is. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Let me put it like this.
And that's no disrespect for Jay. I think Jay, when he wants to be, is a super lyrical cat. But, you know, I think he knows that society, he could keep it easy, write a little something, you know, live his life, write a little something, and people are waiting to hear what one of the most iconic brothers on the planet. This dude's from Brooklyn, and he's with every big shot in history. Of our time, Jay-Z is down with. Jay-Z is down with he's one of the most he's one of the biggest success stories in hip hop history. So Nas isn't the biggest success story in hip hop history. He's one of the biggest lyricists in hip hop history. So society will go, let's see what Jay's talking about. That's Jay-Z. That don't mean that he's a better rapper.
I think Jay's a better rapper.
Well,
I felt the Takeover was better than Ether, but that's just my opinion.
You felt the Takeover was better than Ether?
I felt the Takeover
Well, listen.
I felt the Super Ugly wasn't.
Listen.
But Takeover I felt was better.
The argument, who's better, Jay-Z and Nas, I'm down with that argument. I think Jay in his prime was very great. I think Nas in his prime was very great. I'm not going to tell you can't have that opinion, you know. And I could see two sides to that argument because I think there's verses that Jay spit that I like better than a lot of Nas verses. And there's Nas verses that he spit that I think are better than Jay verses. I think that's a debatable argument that people could have. In my opinion, I won't fight you with that one. But if you put Lil Yachty into the equation, I'll fight you.